Yo, what up, everybody? One Piece chapter 796, man. 796. Like, 795 was cool. Don't get me wrong. 795 was cool. Getting the whole revelation of, oh, snap, Kaido's here and everything. Don't get me wrong. That was absolutely cool. But this chapter, when I tell you this was a chapter for me, dude, oh my God. So let me get this shit straight. So the Navy's about to move on the Straw Hat Crew. The Navy's about to run on the Straw Hat Crew, right? And when that's happening, right, you guys know I got like the huge Metal Gear Solid background, right? Like I'd do a whole fucking channel on Metal Gear Solid if I thought that I had the time to do it, man. Like that's my shit right there. So when Luffy's just like, I got an errand to run, right? Not only did like the alarm sound, like when the soldiers find you in Metal Gear, that goes off, but the whole time, like when the Navy's moving in on them and Luffy and them are getting the update from Leo that the Navy's coming, I'm hearing the Metal Gear Solid dun 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 dun, like the dramatic music that plays when you got the red alert, and it's just like when that's happening, I'm seeing like the countdown clock for 99 seconds and everything. And oh my God, man, yo, this is what I wanted. Like you got Navy people right there. You have Navy people just waiting for Luffy and them to screw up. And Luffy, I mean, Doflamingo, that fight took a lot out of Luffy. I mean, Luffy's at that point now where he he's essentially been recovering his strength. He like you get this funny scene where he's like laughing and angry and sad, and he's eating all at the same time. As Zoro's just like, "Can you just pick one already? Damn it!" And you know that kind of makes me laugh a little bit because Zoro's gotten used to just like the many faces of Luffy, right? I mean that makes him sound schizophrenic now I'm thinking about it, but he's used to the many faces of Luffy. So I mean Zoro does know to expect something like this. But what has me just on edge is at any point they could run into an admiral. Like this is nuts. This brings me back to Sayabodi all over again. This brings me right back to it, man. Like I'm so excited to see where this is coming. Like I thought the arc was over, and it's like a continuation. Oh man, I'm loving this. I'm loving this right here, man. And like what's so crazy is like Oda he balances out the excitement while also continuing like the character interactions and adding more to the narrative. Like there's so much in each of these chapters, man. Like this is an absolute just joy to read. Like I can't stress that enough. Like when the chapter opens up and you have Sengoku and you have Suru and they kind of show up and they're like, wait a second, you've known what Straw Hat's been this whole time for 2 days straight. 2 days straight. And you didn't do anything. And that's when Fujitora just like, look, I'm rolling dice. Anything other than Snake Eyes, the Straw Hat gets captured. If it's Snake Eyes, he lives another day. And he's like, I'll be very interested to see if luck is truly on their side. And he says, hey, matter of fact, hey, darling, and you're talking to Suru. It's like, darling, come over here and roll these dice for me. And what's so crazy about that is like, I'm too, oh sorry, put this, I'm too superstitious to do some shit like that. Like I'll never give my girl some dice to roll. Like, yo, you roll these for me. Fuck that. If I'm gonna lose some money, I'm gonna lose some money my damn self. Like a woman already costs you a lot of money to begin with. I'm gonna lose money my own way. Damn it. So I mean, when you get to this point, when all of a sudden you find out that it's rolled in the favor of the Navy and they're just closing in, the people at Dressrosa like, oh my God, you're even going after Lucy. And Fujitora's just like, yo, go get the criminals out the Royal Palace. And like, wait, sir, you don't have the authority to invade the Royal Palace. He says, look, I'll worry about all that stuff. You figured this out yourself. You go in there and get them, and I'll get the answers, and I'll take the backlash and everything after the fact. And you just see that the Navy has finally made its move. And the whole time when this is happening, I'm thinking, why the fuck didn't Luffy and the crew just go ahead and leave? Like, why didn't they leave? And then you get the revelation that the whole reason why they didn't leave is simply because you actually are waiting for Luffy to wake up. You're waiting for Luffy to wake up, but most important, I mean, they don't have a ship yet. So, I mean, that kind of made sense there. That kind of made sense because they did send the Thousand Sunny on. And what we end up finding out is like Bartolomeo And I love this dude, by the way. But I mean, Bartolomeo has essentially said, no, no, I got pirates stationed all over the place. You know, we got a team ready for you. We got a ship set up. You know, you guys get ready. You guys get ready. We'll take care of you, right? And I like how when Luffy is, you know, just taking all this in, you got Law and you got Bellamy, and Bellamy's like, I can stand. And it's just like, wait a second, Bellamy didn't die. I thought Bellamy died. Like I thought Bellamy died from his injuries and exhaustion. I legit thought that he died. So I mean, that was a little bit of a surprise to me. And I mean, I know. Like as early as like 2015, when I first started doing the One Piece chapter reviews, you know, you guys kept saying like, yo, you don't see the body, you really don't need to assume Oda killed nobody. Like, oh man, I just thought, given everything that happened with Bellamy, that this was going to happen. But you know what we do see is once again you have pirates who are forming an alliance to get Luffy from A to B. I mean, Luffy is a special character. Again, I mean, I just find it interesting. Like his father is a revolutionary leader, and Luffy on the pirate side, he just has a special quality about him to where people follow him, people want to see him do well, and it just makes me wonder, who the fuck did Dragon nut up inside in order to make Luffy? Like, who is this dude's mom? Because it can't just all be Dragon's genes. You know, you get some from your parents, like from your mother. You get some from your father. You know, what's his mother's personality? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, maybe his mother's the person that sucks the meat off a bone. We don't know. I mean, we know that Luffy does some stuff like that. But I mean, we don't know what Luffy's mother, like, what her personality was. For all we know, she could just be, I don't know, some random fodder chick who's in the whatchamacallit, in the Revolutionary Army. But then again, she could also be like a legendary pirate. We don't know. I mean, this is maybe Luffy just came from like the ball sack of Dragon, just immaculate conception or something. I mean, we really don't know much about Luffy's mother, if anything. I'm thinking about it, I don't think we've ever heard Luffy's mother even brought up. I mean, this gives me Naruto vibes, man. Like this gives me Naruto vibes. I don't know. Like, and the stage isn't set quite yet for any type of revelation about this dude's mom. And just speaking of moms, I like what happens with Rebecca, right? So King Riku, and everybody's, you know, celebrating the fact that King Riku is going to be getting brought back and put on the throne of power. You know, King Riku is like, eventually I'll just pass the throne on to Rebecca. And they tell him like, hey man, you know, Scarlet was pretty stubborn herself. And we find out that like Kratos this whole time has had everybody thinking that Scarlet ran off with a prince from a faraway land, and Rebecca knows the truth. You know, Kratos sent her a letter, and he's just like, if she doesn't want anything to do with me, you know, I can understand. And you know, like that touched me, man. You know, because you guys know my story. You know, my old man. We don't have a relationship. Like, you know, fuck that dude. Like, we don't have a relationship. And here's what got me like very. Sorry to put this. Here's what got me very antsy, okay? It's just like, I understand why he thinks Rebecca wouldn't want anything to do with him, but at the same time, after everything she's been through, and after all those memories she had of you being the toy soldier, here's what's crazy. It doesn't matter what you could have done. She's always going to remember you based off of who you were when she needed you most. When she was looking at the toy soldier, she got to know you. And it doesn't matter what you did in the past. It's who you are now. You know, don't be wrong. Like, when it comes to life, you know, there are some things that you do in the past where you can never pay the price for the things that you've done. But at the same time, there are also moments where eventually who you are now balances out what you've done. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where you just have to look at the scales and see where things kind of fall into place. But I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting that Oda even decided to touch on that, because I never even considered it. But you know, when they got to speaking about Rebecca's lineage, right? Like, you had this really interesting shot of Kanjuro and what's the dude now, Kinemon, and when they're talking, right? There's this one line here that just kind of caught my attention, and what it was when they're breaking it down, they say, a prince from where? and you just get and Kanjuro and Kinemon, right? And you got like the little sound effects things where they're murmuring, and you hear chirp, 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 and you have like a little dot, dot, dot coming from Kanjuro, right? Not Kanjuro, from Kinemon. And the narration says, a land of beautiful lakes, dot, 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 there was a time at war. They shared a forbidden love, dot, 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 and gave birth to Rebecca, dot, dot, dot. Now, here's the thing, right? This is my thing. The dot, dot, dot in the narration, I get it. That's for pause, suspense, whatever. Totally okay with that. But my thing is something in that text, got that response. Got that response out of Kanjuro and Kinemon. And so my thing is, what is Oda trying to say here? Where is Oda trying to take this? Because, I mean, that's a setup. That's a setup. I don't know where. I don't know how. That's a setup for something. And the thing with Oda, you have to keep this in mind, right? With Oda, he's not one of those guys that waste his manga panels. That ain't something Oda does. And then the other thing is, when it comes to Oda, Oda, he will pull stuff from 300-400 chapters ago. And all of a sudden it's relevant today. Stuff that you didn't think anything of. With this also forbidden love, it's very easy to get swept up in some shit like this. But with Oda, you can never be too sure. And again, I might be overthinking that. I might be overthinking it. But I mean, again, it's classic Eiichiro Oda to just drop some foreshadowing there. In the midst of a chapter where we're getting stuff like the funny moment where Bartolomeo just turns into a complete groupie. And where we get stuff like the Navy on the move and Straw Hat saying, okay, like I think I'm gonna see what all this is about. Like, Oda set something up here. And so what I want to ask you guys, right? I want to go back to the Rebecca thing for a second, because she's a character that I found myself very interested in, right? I found myself very interested in her character. Because I see a symbolism with Rebecca and Shirahoshi. And so let me just say this for a second. So what I've noticed is one of the things Oda's done is when it comes to these princesses and just children in general, when it comes to the New World, we've seen a shift. Like in the in the first part of the series before the time skip, Luffy and them, teenagers mostly doing the thing. I think Zoro is like 19 or 20 or something, right? Like teenagers doing the thing, whatever. Nico Robin, grown adult, doing the thing. Typical shonen stuff. But there's been a tonal shift. Like you've seen characters like Tashigi going out of her way to be protective towards children. You've seen Nami doing the same thing. You've seen Shirahoshi. There's a huge urge to protect her. There's this whole thing with innocence. Is kind of being built up. And where I see the connection with Shirahoshi and Rebecca is in both of those arcs. Like there was information withheld because people who had their best interest at heart thought, oh, well, they wouldn't be able to handle it. And so when you start taking that into consideration, this brings me to my chapter question. Do you think this is the right choice? And I'm going to say no. I understand lying to people to protect them. I totally understand that. Sometimes a lie is better than the truth. And yet at the same time, I feel like when a child gets to a certain age, and that's what Rebecca, at the end of the day, she's still a child. Okay? She's still a child. And I feel like when a child gets to a certain age, you have to step out on faith and see how they react to certain things. Like the worst thing you can have happen is what happened to Nico Robin. And I mean, what happened to me, right? I mean, I relate to Nico Robin a lot, man. Like, when you put a child in a position where they're forced to grow up early, they miss out on a lot of key things, especially if it happens during a key juncture of their developmental period. And that's why Nico Robin, that's why she is how she is. But here's the thing, like Rebecca had Toy Soldier or Kratos there the whole time to make sure she got steered in the right direction. She's been through so much. She's been in an arena where people have wanted to kill her. And I don't feel as if Kratos made the right decision. I think giving her the letter was a great idea. That way she knows the truth. But I think he should have did it in person. So I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about this whole idea of having to protect children? And then the other thing is do you think Kratos should have gave her the letter himself? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.